we're going to move to Lebanon now and cover some of the events that have been happening in Lebanon. The events in Lebanon are still continually and constantly described by the IDF as delimited, targeted raid. They're not talking about a full-scale invasion, although there are now 4+ divisions spread out along the border. Yesterday, there was indications that there was parts of a 5th division going up to the border. Israel doesn't give troop numbers, but that would put the troop numbers somewhere between 60 and 80,000, which would be somewhere between double and triple the 2006 war. And they're spread out wide across the border. They're wide, not deep. They're not moving. They're not pushing into Lebanon the way they pushed into Gaza. They can't lead with their armor into Lebanon. That's what they did in the 2006 war, and that's when they got hammered because the anti-tank crews trapped their armored vehicles, and then the rest of the war basically became a rescue operation. 2,500 Lebanese have been killed since Israel started these attacks on them in more than 10,000 strikes. And just to give you an idea, on Sunday, the UNIFIL report said that there was 1,550 exchanges of fire across the border. 1,440 of them were Israeli, 167 were Hezbollah, 93% are Israeli. And the Israelis are moving with their troops first, and their armor is, if you've seen, it's tucked in the villages on the border, not moving the armor in yet at this point. It's still not clear if this is a full-on ground invasion of Lebanon. There's no question not many armies move 4 or 5 divisions into place without the intention of carrying out a war. But it's not clear yet from Israel's messaging that this is an all-out invasion. So yeah, they're wide across the border now. Those 4 divisions have covered the border, but they're not deep into Lebanon. Hezbollah this week claimed between 25 and 38 attacks a day. 38 attacks was the high, still mostly standoff fire, rockets. They're firing ballistic missiles now. And yesterday's report said that they got a tank and 2 Elbit Hermes 450 drones. So that will be interesting to see if video follows up from that. The other downings of Hermes drones video followed, so we'll bring you that next week if that's the case. So the major operation that happened this week was the drone strike against the Golani base, the training base in Binyamina. The Golani Brigade is part of the 36th Division that is right now pushing up from the bottom of the Galilee Panhandle into Lebanon. And so these are soldiers at a training base, and Hezbollah hit them at 7 p.m. with an explosive-laden attack drone, 7 p.m. in their dining hall. So they had intelligence to put the Golani Brigade in the dining hall and struck the dining hall at that moment. 4 soldiers were killed. 61 other soldiers were wounded various ways, 8 seriously. And then Magen David is the one who they report trip and falls. They also reported 9 anxiety attacks from those soldiers that don't seem to be ready to go to war. If you're having anxiety attacks over those attacks, you might be held back from going to the front, but we can watch the video now. It's 20A. So this is 66 kilometers from the border, and it's going to begin, the operation is going to begin by tying up the Iron Dome and the naval and fighter jet interceptions by firing, and they also fired precision missiles on Haifa. So 3 diversionary rocket fire attacks that you're looking at here, and then a drone swarm. And the drone swarm appeared to be Shahed 101 drones. They're similar to the Zuari drone that we just saw. In the next video, we'll see a closer look at that one. But this is the video of the operation happening. And so, according to the preliminary IDF Air Force investigation, indicated that Hezbollah launched a combined offensive of drones, rockets, and 3 precision missiles at Haifa at the same time that it launched the drone towards Binyamina. The IDF Navy and the Iron Dome interceptors claimed to intercept 2 of the drones, but that is called into question by some other reporting that indicated that Israelis telephoned the army and said that they saw the drones flying over their houses, and they were told that they were Israeli drones before they hit this base. We can loop it one more time around tomorrow. There's a couple more things I want to show you. So there's the way that these drones are getting through. We're reporting this all through the war. The way these drones are getting through is because they fly low, they fly slow. They have a low heat signature. They're difficult for radar to pick up, because if you calibrate your radar too tight, you end up getting flocks of birds. You get too much noise in your radar. And if you don't have it calibrated effectively, then these go right. There's no signal. There's no indication that they're there. There was no alarms on this operation, which is the same that we get reports all the time of these drone hits, that there's no alarm sounding. You can see the chaos here at the base of the soldiers. Dozens and dozens of ambulances for the 61 wounded soldiers. And this makes the 4 soldiers killed, makes it 18 plus killed in the 2 weeks of this battle, and they haven't been fighting face to face yet. So that's an Israeli toll of 18 killed, more than 150 wounded in the 2 weeks of this battle. And then there's this quote that I got from the AFP that's interesting. Youssef is the manager of a Palestinian restaurant in the nearby village of Kfar Qara. And he says, last night was crazy. There was a huge boom, and then suddenly ambulances started driving past. First 1, 2, 3, 10. And he said, we've been open for 2 years and didn't realize that we were next to this base. Such an important base, Youssef told the AFP. How does Hezbollah know it's here? And so not only did they know it's there, they know what time dinner time is, and they hit at dinner time to maximize the strike deep inside Israel, hitting behind the lines in Lebanon with a significant psychological blow. And it earlier in the day, in that same day, earlier in the day, Yoav Gallant said that gave a security briefing. The defense minister of Israel gave a security briefing where he said that the IDF had degraded Hezbollah down to 1/3 of their capabilities. He didn't say what number that was, because there's obviously a wide speculation about the actual number of rockets, missiles, drones that Hezbollah has. They range between 150 and 250,000. So it's not sure what 1/3, what he's pulling the 1/3 from, but it was a strong statement. And then he gave that statement in the morning. And then at dinner time, the drones hit the base of the Golani Brigade, who the Israelis like to attach the word elite to. Not clear. It's not the way that other militaries would classify elite, like as special forces, but they like to call the Golani elite. So they hit their base. And then after hitting the base, they released this video here that will show you 20B. That's a promo video they put out that says our capabilities are just fine. And it shows, and it's a fresh video. So dispelling command and control, rumors that their command and control had been hurt by the assassinations. These seem to be putting all that aside. Their command and control is communicating across many different battle spaces and carrying out coordinated rocket, drone, and missile fire from 3 different locations to 3 other locations. There's Fouad Shukr, who is the head of the missile and rocket program on Hezbollah. And we can see, I think we might have missed it, there's a Nasrallah martyr poster that shows that this was just filmed with these drones. There's music to this track, but this is the most we have ever seen of Hezbollah's drones. In the last year, they haven't been showing us exactly. We see them flying through the sky. We've seen a couple of them exploded on the inside Israel, but the launch of them, Hezbollah hasn't really given us a lot of detail about the launch. But you can see here they've got them stacked on a rack here, and that's where it says our capabilities are just fine. So Gallant says your capabilities are down to 1/3. Hezbollah hits the Golani base, kills 4 soldiers, shakes Israel, the Israeli military to its core. After Gallant says you have 1/3 of your capabilities, Hezbollah releases this video and says of their drones and says our capabilities are just fine. And then later that night, they released the video of the strike on the Golani base. So Hezbollah is able to communicate, command and control. They're able to, media ops are putting these out with just the same level of confidence as we have seen all along. It doesn't seem to be disrupted in any way. And that's something that I said on the last show, that these assassinations are devastating, but they don't, the leadership can be replaced. The individual can't be replaced. The institutional knowledge that the leadership that was assassinated has is a devastating loss. But they're able in their military structure. They fight like guerrillas, but they're able in their military structure to replace the command. And so this is the drone footage showing you that they're able to do that. So it was just interesting propaganda, agitprop going back and forth between the Israelis and Hezbollah definitely got the upper hand on this one. So number 21 will show you why they have this intelligence. This is translated by Revolutionary M. So thanks D for doing this. This is the 4th installment of the Hezbollah drone footage over Israel. I showed you the one where they went over Haifa for 10 minutes over 2 days. There's another one over the Golan, occupied Golan Heights that they went over. And then they went over the Ramat David air base and gave us full detail of everything that goes on in this air base. So this is over Haifa and Carmel south of Haifa. Just showing you, I edited this to just show you the basics. This goes for 10 minutes, but it basically just shows you how all of these key military installations are all first of all, it's amazing that they can fly these drones over for hours taking footage and not get intercepted. But you can see these bases, these key installations that Hezbollah has identified. They know from the sky where their Iron Dome platforms are, where the radar platform is, which is important to know. Almost more than the Iron Dome platform itself is to know where the radars are. They can see where those Iron Domes are situated. You can see them in a community. You see the base. And so that's how they know how to hit the Binyamin Golani Brigade base and hit them in a place where it matters. So there's a shopping mall. We're going to go over Haifa University here and see a military position on the roof of the university being used here. Hezbollah is going to show us that because Israel is deeply embedded. There you see at the top of the Eshkol Tower at Haifa University, a military communications hub that Hezbollah spotted on the roof there. And the video goes on with key sites integrated within civilian infrastructure, the way that we know it is in Tel Aviv. Like, look at those buildings, right? We're in Haifa and Carmel. Carmel's to the south of Haifa on the bottom of the hill. And you can see these are all civilian areas that are being used as military as military installations come the war. They're using the tunnels for field hospitals. They're using the university as a military communications hub. We've seen footage of Israeli soldiers all over the settlements in the north that have been abandoned using the settlements. But look at that base is just right inside a civilian neighborhood. And so they're showing you that these bases are in civilian neighborhoods, but they're also showing you the capability for intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance that's happening with these drones and the ability to then target these positions. They showed you the Haifa oil refinery and their ability to strike Haifa power and oil refineries and the reservoirs, the reserves of their oil, and the ability to knock that out. And I think it's a fair question to ask if these videos are deterrents in the crosshairs. Haifa and its area in the crosshairs. If these types of videos and the capability, intelligence capability, has delayed at least Israel's attacking of civilian infrastructure in Lebanon, because the 2006 war started, people may remember, by bombing the electrical stations and the bridges. They took out all the bridges. They took out all of the civilian infrastructure that we're not seeing happen this time around. Let's look at number 22 tomorrow. This is a drone swarm strike on Tel Aviv. So you can see the launch of the swarm. These are Ababil 2T drones. These are different drones than the ones we saw in the our capabilities are fine video. But this was a drone swarm attack on Tel Aviv, on Herzliya, which is just north of Tel Aviv, and also where there's many security installations there. And you're going to see they cut to footage after the drone swarm launch. Watch this footage from an Israeli on their balcony recording the drone flying over the sky. And it's something right here. He's flying over their deck. And that's something that Abu Ubaidah said in his speech too, that in the speech that I cut that little bit from. He also said that this is a qualitative upgrade in the battle, because there's drones flying all over Palestine, from the Iraqi resistance, from the Yemeni resistance, from Gaza. We saw them firing drones, and from Lebanon. And these drones are now flying all over Palestine, all over Israel. And Israel's not able to do anything about them. We can see them from people recording them from their deck flying. People are recording them. When I showed that 60 Minutes video a few months back, we saw the mayor in the town, in the bunker, doing military work in the bunker, phoning the Israelis and saying, like, we see drones flying over. Like, the Israelis have no idea. They're unable to get at these drones at all. So this is not something that's going to go away. And number 23 is the targeting of Carmel, which we just saw with the drone footage. And we've seen this before because we got footage over. And so that's showing the 𝐓𝐡𝐞 systems, the Israel arms manufacturers. That's where their headquarters is. And so they're launching up Fadi 2 rockets. They introduced these as Fadi 2 rockets. These are 300 millimeter rockets, heavier rockets. They're unguided. They're not precision guided, but they're aimed, they're fired on, in this case, on Haifa and beyond. They're fighting deeper into Israel, because Israel is taking the war deeper into Lebanon. The Hezbollah is taking the war deeper into Israel. And in this case, you see that pretty clearly. And if we look at the next one tomorrow, we can see what the IDF's response is to this that's been going on. For example, yesterday, there was 182 air raid sirens throughout Israel. Do we have 24? It's the IDF message. So the IDF says sirens are sounding in Haifa right now, but they have not stopped sounding in northern Israel all day. That's sort of an exasperated IDF acknowledgement of how serious the rocket attacks have been. So just wanted to show you that one for a little bit of the Israeli perspective on what it's like to see these from the other side. And then just one last one is 25. This is the closest we had to a combat footage that's not standoff fire, because we've seen a lot of standoff fire. As I said, 30 plus operations a day. This is an IED set. You can see Hezbollah using thermal cameras, and they're all on top of these troops. And they detonated this device against this foot patrol that is some of the 18 casualties that the Israelis had. They had 9 killed on the first day. And yesterday, Hezbollah announced that they had downed, I think I already said this, down 2 Hermes drones that we may see. We haven't seen video of that yet. But also, just one last stop for number 30 is the Iraqi resistance. Firing these drones. They're still carrying these out, 4 operations a day. They're generally aimed at Eilat or the occupied Golan, or also positions in the Jordan Valley, saluting Nasrallah, saluting the resistance in Gaza, saluting the resistance in Lebanon, saluting the resistance in Yemen, opening up a new front of these drones that fly low, they fly slow, they're hard to get for the Israelis. They hit their targets. The Iraqi resistance hit a Golan Heights base, an Israeli base in the Golan, a couple weeks back that I reported on, that killed 2 and injured 24 soldiers on that base. So we're seeing these drones take significant casualties. That's 100 casualties just in 2 drone strikes on the Golani base and on the occupied Golan Heights. So those operations carrying on pace, and I could put more of these in. They're all just launching. We only get the launch because it's long distance. There's more of these launches, but I just make a mixtape of them for the show each week. But they release all 4 of them every day, so there's 28 videos that you could be watching. It kind of sort of falls into the mortar category of my curating of these videos, is that there's mortar videos every single day. I could have brought you 10 videos from all factions mortaring the Netzarim corridor, which all the factions have been doing. Mortaring the corridor is mortar rockets on the corridor is a constant element of this. But when we have these other more qualitative operations, they end up making it into the resistance report just because there's more detail to them. But as we know, the mortar and rocket attacks are themselves successful attacks, and they're a harassing tool. They make it uncomfortable for the Israelis to operate on occupied, stolen land, and they're being forced to take defensive measures in the Netzarim corridor. So that is the resistance report for this week. We got from southern Gaza to the northern Gaza. We got from the Iraqi resistance. We got from the Lebanese resistance, and we got operations deep inside Israel that we're really starting to see. And if this war continues on, we're going to see more operations deep into the heart of Israel with precision guided missiles that we haven't seen be used in any significant numbers yet. Hezbollah is holding those back for now. So that is the resistance report for this week.